Right. Tonight, guys, I wanted to talk about something which, do you remember a couple of weeks ago I spoke about love and how love, like the word love has been sort of desensitized again. So we sort of say love as such a flippant word these days. We say, oh, I love EastEnders, I love cake, I love tea, I love coffee. And when somebody says that they love those things, it doesn't really incite a reaction in us because we've heard it so many times. It doesn't mean anything, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. So there is actually another word with this, and it's actually hope. People always say, oh, I hope Swansea win. Or I hope yeah, that's right, Reese. I hope Swansea win, not Cardiff. I am my father's daughter. So I hope my team win. I hope this, I hope that. And it's sort of become something now where it's like a surface level word. And again, exactly like love, it's sort of been just said so many times that the word hope itself, we sort of see it as a word that's it. That's all there is. But hope is actually I call them heavy words, where there's so much more meaning attached to them. Hope is something that keeps people alive, isn't it? Have you ever heard of sort of people, have you ever heard somebody saying yeah, but I have this hope and it's keeping me going, yeah? There is specific kinds of hope, yeah, where it's oh, I just need to keep on hanging on and that's giving me hope. Yeah, or I live in hope, or whatever. But people sort of attach the word hope to a lot of things. And the thing is with hope is we tend to put it in the wrong thing. And so those things that we put our hope in tend to let us down quite frequently. And so I absolutely love music and I love books. They are my two favorite things in the whole wide world. But I find that sometimes I can run to those things and they don't give me what I need because it's I just don't really want to do it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just come across things that you love and you're it's lost its spark for me. It's just not the same. And then you go back to it a couple of days later and it's there again. And you're okay, cool, great. But it doesn't always give us what we need. And perhaps you're here tonight and you hope in things like sports teams or education or books, music, like me. There's nothing wrong in that in terms of loving them and things. Of course there isn't. But things do let us down. And sometimes we hope in people, don't we? And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't know if I'm on my own in this room. But when we trust people and then they really hurt us, that is probably one of the biggest forms of hurt that you can feel, yeah? Have you ever been hurt by somebody that you really trusted? Somebody that literally you told everything to, they saw the worst parts of you, you allowed them into places where other people weren't allowed, you allowed them into your heart, you allowed them into your space, they spent a lot of time with you, you shared things with them, things that you wouldn't necessarily tell anybody else, and then they turn around and they do something to really hurt you. It's probably the worst pain I think anybody feels in that sense in terms of other people when somebody that you really love betrays you like that. But everything that we tend to put our hope in around us tends to kind of wither away and fall away. If I put my hope in things now that I used to when I was a kid, like Bratz dolls and Barbie dolls, I'd be pretty shortchanged. Because I'm not being funny, in my struggles recently, I have not seen a Barbie doll appear out of the door. Do you know what I mean? We can put a lot of emphasis on these things. And as much as I do understand that, and I do it as well, guys, again, massive bookworm, you will catch me in a corner, in a chair, with a book with my earphones in, and that's my life, right? That's how I roll. However, it doesn't always work, and there is always that thing where it's I need something more than this. This is not helping me out. And so then we kind of do a 360, and we come back to the beginning, where we're I need to find something that's actually going to help me out here. But where you put your hope, super duper important, okay? Hope is something that is, as I said earlier, it keeps you going, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you alive in a lot of senses. And so where we put our hope is really, really important. Now, you may have heard Christians talking about hope. We have this hope and everything, but it's because it's true. So we as Christians obviously read the Bible, and in the Bible there is an amazing, amazing verse that describes this hope that we have. And And it's actually described as an anchor. I'll go into that in a second, though. Through the cross, through the cross of Christ, which is that lovely blue cross up there. It wasn't blue back in the day. FYI, it was brown. But I'm assuming, anyway, I don't think they had pink trees back in the day, but, we move. Obviously, the cross and Christians, they take a lot of hope in that cross. A lot of hope. Because through that cross, we get an incredible hope. We get a hope of eternal life. We get a hope of never being alone in our struggle again. We get hope of not having to go through things alone again. But also as well, we get the hope and the promise of a loving Father who isn't fazed by the shifting things of this world, who isn't fazed by people who are hurting others left, right, and centre in that sense. He is basically, what I'm trying to say is that he is a God that is ever present and that he loves us. And you may be sitting here tonight, you might be thinking, yeah, okay, but what's that got to do with me? It's everything to do with you. He died for you. And that's the main thing of it, okay? And we have this hope in the cross, which is absolutely incredible. And it doesn't change. It does not change. Now, in the Bible, there's a book in Hebrews. There's a book in the Bible called Hebrews, Hebrews, and it's in chapter 6. And it says, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. So when we actually look at what an anchor's purpose is on a ship, you've seen the anchors, yeah? So it's to keep a ship safe and secure at a desired location or to help control the ship during bad weather. Right. Friends, the anchor doesn't stop the bad weather coming, right? The anchor doesn't also guarantee that it's never going to happen again. But what the anchor does do is that it controls the ship, yeah? It stops it from drifting off and going into the really, really bad waters. It gives the ship control and guidance, right? In the midst of really, really bad seasons. And that is what our hope is as Christians. When you become a Christian, life doesn't automatically get really, really easy and it's a walk in the park and God does everything for you. That is probably one of the most common misconceptions of Christianity. It's not that. Being a Christian is having peace within the difficulties. There's an amazing, amazing quote from C.S. Lewis, and it says, being a Christian is not immunity from difficulties, but peace within them. Yeah? It's having a friend constantly, and that's what we have. And that is why we want to tell you about this, because this world is horrendous sometimes, if not all the time. There's always something going on. There's always people hurting one another. There's always something happening to make us worry, to make us confused, to make us angry, all of these things. But friends, there's hope tonight. That you might be in a place tonight where you think, I actually have nothing left and I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm afraid that nobody likes me, I have no friends, I've got nothing. There is hope even for you tonight. And it could be that you might be thinking, do you know what, yeah, all right, for everyone else, cool, nice one, but not for me. But that's just not true. This hope is available to everyone, and that is the beauty of the cross. There is nobody exempt from the love of Christ. And we want you guys to know that. So when you actually accept Jesus, there's not like this massive lightning bolt and it's like all of a sudden you're immune from everything. But it's just knowing that you have a friend, and it's knowing that you don't have to do it alone. And I think in this day and age, we need that. We need people around us and we need people to support us. But nobody will be able to support you like Jesus can. And I'm just saying that, I'm keeping it real. So there is a song I want to sing tonight now. It's actually quite funny because I was sitting there earlier on and I was going to sing a completely different song. But a guy from church has just saved my bacon by giving me the chords to a song that we sing in church. And this song is actually based on the scripture that I've just spoken on. And it's called Anchor. And I want to read out the first... what's it called? Verse. It says, I have this hope as an anchor for my soul. Through every storm I will hold to you. With endless love, all my fear is swept away. In everything I will trust in you. And then in the chorus it says, there is hope in the promise of the cross. He gave everything to save the world you love. And this hope is an anchor for my soul. Our God will stand unshakable.